You're standing there holding your ID, and suddenly, you're not sure if you had to give it. What if I told you most people get this moment completely wrong? Every day, millions of people interact with police officers, and most of them make the exact same mistake without even knowing it. Picture this. You're walking down the street, minding your own business, perfectly calm. Then suddenly, a police officer steps in front of you. Your heart jumps. What do? The officer holds out his hand and says 3 simple words. Can I see your ID? And almost everyone does the same thing. They immediately reach into their pocket and pull it out. No questions asked. They hand it over, trying to be helpful, trying to avoid trouble. But here's the twist that might have been the worst thing they could have done. Because sometimes handing over that ID without thinking can open a door you didn't mean to open, legally speaking. This could happen to you. In fact, it probably already has. But here's the good news. Once you know your rights, you're protected, and that's exactly what we're covering today. Let's start from the beginning. What does the law actually say about showing ID to a police officer? It's not as simple as you might think, and the answer might actually surprise you. Because there are 2 very different situations here. One where you must show ID, and one where you legally don't have to. And here's the critical part. It all depends on where you live. The laws vary by state, and they vary a lot. First, let's talk about what are called stop and identify states. These are places where the law says you must give your name to a police officer under certain conditions. The key word here is detained. If an officer has legally detained you, the rules start to change. If a police officer says, "You're being detained," that is a very specific legal status. It changes everything about what you're required to do next. So the question running through your head should be, am I actually detained right now? Or am I just being asked? Because there's a big difference between a police officer asking for your ID and a police officer legally requiring you to show it. Think of it like this. If someone at a party asks you to hand them your wallet, you don't have to. But if it's the law, that's a different story. Imagine you're out at night, completely innocent. A patrol car slows down beside you. Your stomach tightens, naturally. 2 officers approach from both sides. Most people freeze, unsure what to do, afraid to say the wrong thing. One officer asks politely, "Can I see your ID, please?" The word please makes it feel friendly, but that doesn't mean it's required. In your head, you're running through the options. Do I give it? Do I say something? What are my rights here? The first thing you can calmly and politely ask is, am I being detained or am I free to go? That single question changes the entire dynamic. Here's why. The 4th Amendment of the United States Constitution protects you from unreasonable searches and seizures. That includes you as a person. The Founding Fathers actually thought about this moment. They wrote protections for exactly this kind of interaction between citizens and authority. There's a legal balance at play between public safety and your personal rights, and the law tries to protect both sides. Yes, staying quiet while nervous is hard, but knowing you have the right to calmly ask questions, that's powerful. Most people have never been taught this. They assume they have to comply immediately, completely, no questions asked. That assumption can cost you. Every year, people end up in courtrooms because of a single moment they didn't think through clearly. Cases have been decided based on whether someone understood their rights during an ordinary street stop. Lawyers and legal experts have said it over and over. What you say and do in the first 60 seconds of a police encounter matters enormously. The rule is simple. Know before you go. Understand your rights before you ever need them. 10. Us. The good news is, this isn't complicated. A few minutes of learning the basics can protect you for a lifetime. Let's break down the country into 2 groups. States where stop and identify laws exist, and states where they don't. We'll walk through a quick list so you get a feel for how different the rules can be from one place to the next. Texas, for example, is a stop and identify state. If you're lawfully detained, you are required to provide your name, residence, and date of birth. California is more nuanced. The law there doesn't always require you to provide ID, but the situation matters a lot. New York, interestingly, does not have a blanket stop and identify law. Simply being stopped doesn't automatically require you to give ID. Now here's a crucial distinction I want you to really lock in. Detained and stopped are not the same thing. Being stopped means an officer has asked you to pause, but you may still be free to leave. Being detained means you are legally not free to go. If you haven't been formally detained in many places, you don't have to show ID at all. You might not even have to say a single word. But if you are detained, things get more serious. That's when you need to know what your specific state requires. Think of this like a chess game. The first move, asking, "Am I detained?" is the most important. It tells you which game you're actually playing. Back in 1968, a landmark Supreme Court case called Terry v. Ohio established the legal basis for brief police stops even without a full arrest warrant. That ruling tried to balance two things: the officer's safety and the public's freedom. It's been the foundation of these encounters ever since. But what it also established is that officers need a reason to stop you, not just a feeling, not just a hunch, a specific, articulable reason. That reason is called reasonable suspicion. It's the legal threshold for stopping someone and beginning an ID request. Reasonable suspicion is key. Without it, a stop may not even be legally valid, and your rights may be even stronger than you think. Now, acting suspicious sounds vague, and it is. But legally, it has to be specific behaviors, not just general nervousness or appearance. Just being in a neighborhood, or being out at night, or looking a certain way, none of that alone counts as reasonable suspicion. The bar is higher than that. The officer must have a specific, concrete reason for the stop, something they could explain clearly and defend in court. Now here's something important. Even in stop and identify states, many only require you to give your name, not a physical ID card. 1. Simply saying your name out loud may be all that's legally required. You might not need to hand over a single piece of plastic. A physical driver's license? Not always required. Knowing this distinction could make a real difference in how you respond. Okay, I know this feels like a lot of legal information, but stay with me because understanding this protects you. The most important homework you can do today? Look up your specific state's stop and identify laws. Google it. It takes 2 minutes. And once you know it, you'll carry that knowledge with you everywhere. That's peace of mind you can't buy. Here's something wild. Most people learn about this for the first time after it's already happened to them. Don't be that person. End quote. Let's replay the original mistake. Officer asks for ID. Person immediately reaches into their pocket, nervous, eager to show they have nothing to hide. But wait, they should have paused first, just for 1 second, and asked one simple question. Pause, breathe, take just 1 moment to think before you react. That 1 second can make all the difference. Here's the simple decision tree you need to memorize. A cop asks for ID. Your first move is one question. Am I being detained? If the answer is yes, you're detained, then check what your state requires. In stop and identify states, give your name and any required info. If the answer is no, you're not detained, you may not be required to show ID at all, and you may be free to simply walk away. Now, and this is critical, none of this means being rude, aggressive, or confrontational. You can be polite and firm at the same time. A calm, respectful officer, "Am I free to go?" is not a challenge. It's a legal question, and it's your right to ask it. And if the officer says, yes, you're free to go, then you calmly, respectfully walk away. Simple as that. End quote. That's how it's supposed to go when you know your rights and use them wisely. No drama, no arrest, just freedom. But what if the officer says, no, you are being detained? Then what? Great question. Let's walk through it. If you are formally detained, stay calm. The worst thing you can do is panic, argue loudly, or try to run. Stay still. Stay quiet. Calmly and clearly invoke your right to remain silent. You can say exactly this: I am invoking my right to remain silent. You can also clearly state, I do not consent to searches. You don't have to say it angrily, just clearly and once. And if things escalate beyond the simple stop, ask for an attorney. I want to speak to an attorney is always a protected right. Saying these things is not being difficult. It is being informed. It is being smart, and it is completely legal. Your rights are a shield, not a weapon. Use them to protect yourself, not to start a conflict. Remember, anything you say voluntarily in this moment can be used against you later. Silence protects you in ways words cannot. You don't have to fill silence with explanations. Officers are trained to keep asking questions. You are not required to keep answering them. If everything goes right, you stay calm. You know your rights. You respond appropriately. You walk away free. Every time. Let's recap the 3-step strategy that could protect you in any police encounter involving ID. Step 1. Stay calm. Your emotional state will set the tone for the entire interaction. Breathe. Slow down. Think. This sounds obvious, but adrenaline is real. It makes people do things they'd never do in a calm moment. Step 2. Ask the magic question: am I being detained or am I free to go? Before you do anything else. This question immediately tells you what the legal situation is. It's not aggressive. It's not a challenge. It's information. Step 3. Know your state-specific laws. Take 5 minutes today. Look it up on your phone. Bookmark it. Know it. Because vague awareness of having rights is not enough. You need the actual details for your location. With these 3 steps memorized, you've already beaten the most common mistake 90% of people make. Let's watch this play out one more time the right way. Calm posture, open hands, respectful tone, clear question. That's it. That's what protecting yourself looks like. Not defiance, not drama, just knowledge, applied calmly in the right moment. Write it down if you need to. Stick it somewhere you'll see it. Your rights are only useful if you actually know what they are. Share this with a friend, especially one who's ever said, I'll just do whatever the officer says. They need this knowledge too. Right now, before you close this video, search your state's Stop and Identify law. You'll find it in under a minute. Let's be honest about the big mistake one more time, because understanding it deeply is the only way to truly break the habit. The mistake is automatic compliance driven by fear, not by knowledge. You reach for your ID because you're scared, not because you know you have to. And that automatic fear response, it can lead you into situations you didn't need to be in, legally speaking. The correct response is calm, informed action. You know what's required. You respond accordingly, and you stay in control. Unquote. Your brain is your best tool in these situations. A panicking mind gives up rights it didn't need to give up. Knowledge is the equalizer. It doesn't matter how nervous you feel. If you know the rules, you know what to do. And when you know your rights, truly know them, you stand differently. You carry yourself differently. Because you're not afraid of what you understand. Most encounters with police are peaceful and routine. This isn't about assuming bad intent. It's about being prepared for any outcome. Even in the calmest stops, knowing your rights gives you a foundation of confidence. You're not guessing. You're ready. One calm, polite question, am I being detained, does more for you in that moment than a pocket full of fear ever could. And when the officer says, no, have a good day, you nod respectfully and you keep walking, exactly as you should. That quiet confidence, that's what knowing your rights actually feels like, and it's available to anyone willing to learn. Let's pull it all together one final time. Here is your quick reference summary of everything we covered today. Number 1. You are not always required to show a physical ID. Whether you must depends on your state and whether you're actually detained. Number 2. Always ask if you are detained before doing anything. That question unlocks everything else. Number 3. Know your state's specific laws before you ever need them. That's the homework. It's simple and it's important. And number 4, always stay calm, stay polite, and stay firm. You can be all three at the same time. That's the real skill here. This information isn't just interesting trivia. It could genuinely protect you or someone you love in a real moment that matters. If this video helped you, share it. Seriously, the more people know this, the better off everyone is. Send it to a friend, post it, because someone in your life might need this information right now and not even know it. Knowledge shared is knowledge multiplied. One video, passed forward, can protect dozens of people. Knowledge is protection, not a weapon, a shield. And unlike most shields, this one fits in your head and weighs nothing. If you found this valuable, hit like and subscribe. We cover these kinds of real-world practical knowledge videos every week. Thank you for watching all the way through. That tells me you're serious about understanding your world, and that matters. Now go out there, informed, prepared, and confident, because that's exactly what you are now. The world looks different when you understand it, and you just took one more step toward that. Stay informed, stay safe, and always know your rights.